Hello students, today we will be studying about the general characteristics of bryophytes. The bryophytes includes the simplest and the most primitive members of the plant kingdom. Most appropriate definition of bryophytes is that they are a small group of most primitive archegoniate, where sex organ is called archegonia, and there is a regular alternation of generation and atracheate without conducting elements, that is of xylem. Cryptogams, flowerless plants which do not reproduce by seeds. The study of bryophytes, we can say that it is known as bryology. Johann Hedwig is the father of bryology, but some scientists consider Caveris as father of bryology. Shiv Ram Kashyap is the father of Indian bryology, as you can see in the picture here. He is Shiv Ram Kashyap, the father of Indian bryology. The most important characteristic of bryophyta is that they are land dwellers. Plant grow in two well-defined habitats. These are are water and the land. The plants which grow in water, as we all know, they are called aquatics, and other are terrestrial. The best example of aquatic plants are algae, and land dwellers are seed plants, that is angiosperms. Between these two extremes of habitat is a translational zone. It is represented by swamps and the areas where water and land meet. It may well be defined as amphibious zone. Inhabiting the amphibious zone are the mosses, liverworts, and the hornworts, which are collectively constitute in a group of non-vascular land plants, which we are studying today, that is bryophytes. They latter are simple thallus-like plants, which suggest the stages through which the green algae may have evolved to become terrestrial. Most of the bryophytes, as I have mentioned in the starting, that they are land dwellers which inhabit damp, shaded, and humid localities. They are but the most important thing which need to be addressed here is that they require water to complete their life cycle, so they cannot be called truly terrestrial or aquatic, but rather they are termed as amphibians of the plant kingdom. They include more than 25,000 species. Bryophytes, they are represented by 960 genera and 25,000 species. They are cosmopolitan in distribution and are found growing both in temperate and tropical regions of the world at an altitude of 4,000 to 8,000 feet. In India, bryophytes are quite abundant in hilly regions between 4,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level. They are seen in we can say four major geographical regions, which are Himalayan region, Punjab, West Rajasthan plains, Central India, and Gangetic plains and Southern zone. Andaman and Nicobar Islands is also geographical region. Eastern Himalayas have the richest biophytic flora. They have the richest biophytic flora, the Eastern Himalayas. They have been reported from altitude where no shrubs or trees occur. For example, Ongextomia julacea, a moss, recorded from some bryophytes have also been recorded from different geological areas, like Muscites, Yallorensis, and Markensia species, which are from Paleozoic era, etc. Now talking about bryophytes, so bryophytes grow densely in moist and shady places and form thick carpets or mats on damp soils, rocks, bark of trees, especially during rainy season. Majority of the species are terrestrial, but we can also say that a few species are aquatic. Some grow in fresh water, example Rixia, uh, Relia, etc. And marine species like Scapinia are also reported. Bryophytes are generally not found in sea, but some mosses are found growing in the surfaces of rocks and are being regularly bathed by the sea water. Some bryophytes also grow in diverse habitat, as seen here in this slide, that is in freshwater, Rixia. We have already discussed this thing. in the diverse habitat I was talking about, that is in the epiphytic condition which are found in the bark of living trees and shrubs. These are both obligate as well as facultative. Obligate, in the obligate condition, you should just keep in mind that whenever the term obligate comes, it means it is restricted to that habitat or to that particular condition. Obligate is the restriction. It means that if that condition is provided, then only the thing will survive. And in the case of facultative, it required that thing, but if that thing is not present, then it can grow and survive in other substrate or in other conditions too. Same, the next condition is lignicolous, in which the algae are found on for old logs. In epilithic condition, which is also known as saxicolous, they are found directly on the rock surface, or we can say that they grow directly on the rock surface. Again, in this condition of growing habitat, obligate and facultative, both the situations are present. Then epiphyllous, or also known as fellicolous, in which they are found on the living surface of leaf. These are found in the tropical rainforest of living surface of leaves of higher plants. They are not found in the leaves of deciduous higher plants. Rhizoids of these bryophytes are somewhat modified into plates to fix their bryophytes on leaf surface. They are also of two types, again the same, obligate and facultative. In the case of obligate, they will be restricted to that situation, and in the facultative, they require that situation, but if that condition is absent, then the leaf surface as well as the bark of the same plant mosses they can be found. Then the last, desert bryophytes, seen bryophytes which can tolerate heat, or we can say the drought of the desert, are even seen on sand dunes, etc. Now, talking about the general characteristics or the most important characteristics of the bryophytes. These are some as follows. That is, they are small terrestrial plants. The reason behind being small is that they lack a vascular system. There is no proper conduction system, as we can see in the angiosperms. That's why they are small terrestrial plants. They have green and thallus-like body, thalloid in Hepatiaceae. Differentiated, the body of the thallus, the body or the thallus, it is differentiated into rhizoids, leaf and stem-like structures in muskie. The stems and leaves are not found in bryophytes, are not homologous with stems and leaves of vascular plants. This point is very important, and it should be kept in mind that the stem and the leaves are not homologous with the leaves or the stem of the vascular plants. That is in the case of gymnosperms or angiosperms, etc. In the primitive form, Rixia marchantia, the gametophyte is prostrate and thalloid, but in mosses, the plant body is erect, differentiated into stem, axis, and later appendages. True roots are absent. The true roots which are found in angiosperms or in higher plants, that case of roots, there it is absent. Instead of that, thin filamentous rhizoids are present. These thin filamentous structures, as seen in this picture, these are known as rhizoids. And they function the anchorage and absorption performed by in the higher plants as roots. So in the case of bryophytes, rhizoids are responsible to perform the function of anchoring and absorption. Rhizoids may be multicellular or unicellular. They may be smooth walled or tuberculate or both. Look at this picture. If the wall is smooth, then we call it as smooth rhizoids, or if it is pegged, then we call it as tuberculate rhizoids. In a thallus or in one bryophyte, it is possible that the rhizoid present may be only of smooth type, that is smooth rhizoid, or tuberculate rhizoid, or in some cases both types of rhizoids are found in the same thallus. Okay, so the water and minerals, salts can be absorbed by the whole surface of the plant, including the rhizoids. In addition to rhizoids, multicellular scales are present on the ventral surface of the thallus in primitive thallus. These scales in primitive Just keep in mind, okay, we are talking about the primitive thallus. The scales which are present, multicellular scales, they are found on the primitive thallus. The scales protect the growing region of the thallus and also helps in absorption of water. There are two types of scales, simple and appendages. The plant does not possess true vascular tissue system, that is xylem and phloem, it is absent, and true vascular tissue system, it is also absent in the case of bryophytes. The internal structure of the stem is very simple. There is no well differentiated xylem and phloem, as we can see in this point. No well differentiated xylem and phloem in the conducting region. Plant body may have few cells in the middle which may serve as conduction or conducting tissues. Plant body is gametophyte. Gametophyte means we are talking about n number of chromosomes, means the plant's body or the cell of the body of the thallus will only contain n number of chromosomes. Haploid number of chromosomes will be present. That is, the plant body is gametophyte. Reproduction is done by vegetative and sexual means. In vegetative propagation, it takes place by death and decay of older plants of the thallus, or by some special structures like gamma, tubers, protonema, cladia, innovation, etc. In sexual reproduction, when we talk about sexual reproduction, it is of oogamous type in bryophytes and takes place with the help of male and female reproductive organs. The male sex organ in bryophytes, it's called entheridium, and the female sex organ is called archegonium. The male sex organs are multicellular and they have a protective jacket layer of sterile cells. As in the case of entheridium, we can see in this picture, it is very clearly seen, and we can very easily differentiate among both the cells, both the sex organ entheridium and archegonium, because of the shape of the sex organ. In the case of entheridium, it is stalked and globose or club-shaped structure enclosed within a solid mass of fertile cells. The androcytes, which metamorphoses into a biflagellate antherozoids. In the case of archegonium, it is a flask-shaped structure having a basal swollen venter and somewhat slender upper part, like this one. See, it is the slender upper part, the neck. The venter, that is the basal swollen portion of the archegonium, it contains the egg cell. Fertilization is brought only in the presence of water. In the starting only, we have discussed this point, that though the bryophytes are land dwellers, but they need water to complete their life cycle, right? So that's why they are also known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. So the fertilization is brought through only in the presence of water, and it results in the formation of oospore, which is retained in the archegonium. There is no resting period and the oospore starts germinating into sporogonium. The first division the first division is always transverse and the outer cells give rise to embryo, thus showing exoscopic mode of embryo development. The embryo, that is the sporophyte. From here, after the fertilization, the sporophytic phase of the life cycle of bryophyta, it starts the sporophytic phase. So the embryo, which is the sporophytes, developed within the venter of the archegonium. The swollen basal part, which we have already seen in the structure of archegonium, there the sporophyte develops to begin. The sporophyte or the sporogonium is completely dependent on the gametophyte. Sporophyte is a protective structure differentiated into foot, seta and capsule. See in this diagram, this lower portion, it is the foot region. A long stalk region is present, it is known as seta, and the round portion at the top of the seta, it is known as capsule. The capsule, it contains the spore mother cells, SMC, in a spore sac. See here in this diagram, it is clearly seen. Haploid spores or meiospores are produced from these diploid spore mother cells, that is SMC, as their first division is reduction division. All spores are of similar size and shape and are non-motile. So instead of calling it of similar size and shape, we can also call it as they are homosporous. Spores thus formed gets disseminated by wind. On reaching a suitable place, germinates immediately during favorable condition, either by a filamentous germ tube which divides and give rise to a young thallus, we can say, or forms protonormal buds which give rise to a new plant. One of these is independent, autotrophic, haploid, and bears gametes and are of gametophytic, and the sporophytic is completely dependent diploid and form haploid spores. This is the main region that we can say that the gametophytic generation in the case of bryophyte is dominant. The stage before fertilization. We are talking about a stage which occurred before fertilization. That stage, and after the reduction division, which contains n number of chromosome, haploid number of chromosome, it constitutes the gametophytic generation, and in the case of bryophyte, it is the dominant phase of the life cycle. Talking about sporophyte generation, as we have already seen, it is very small, microscopic, and dependent on the gametophytic phase. Stages after fertilization and before the reduction division contains 2n number of chromosomes, or we can also say diploid number of chromosomes. It constitutes the sporophytic phase, which is very small, microscopic, and dependent on the gametophytic phase. So in this diagram, we can see the life cycle of a typical moss. The same thing that the sex organ will produce sex cells. There is the fusion of sex cells will occur in the presence of water. The process of fusion is known as fertilization. After the fertilization, 2n number of the zygote will form, which is known as oospore, which will constitute 2n number of chromosome, that is diploid set of chromosome. After that, sporophyte will be formed. Sporophyte, we have seen the general structure. It will constitute a seta, foot seta, and a capsule. Inside a capsule, spore mother cells will be present. The spore mother cells will undergo meiotic divisions, and then spores are formed. Then these spores they get dispersed through with the help of wind and water, and then on get under the favorable condition, they give rise to a new thallus or form protonema. So this is a general life cycle of bryophytes. So what we have all learned today, that bryophytes, they are small and non-vascular plants. They have relatively poorly developed, we can say, internal conducting systems. They do not have seeds, flower, and thus they reproduce via spores. Bryophytes, they depend on water for reproduction and survival, and due to this reason we call them as the amphibians of plant kingdom. All the plants which falls under the category of bryophytes have gametophytes and sporophytes, or we can say the gametophytic phase and the sporophytic phase, in which the gametophytic phase is always dominant. They are persistent and they give rise to sporophytes. Spores produced by the sporophytes germinate to produce more gametophytes, which may then give rise to more sporophytes, and so on. This type of life cycle goes on. Distinct alternation of generation between the gametophytic and the sporophytic phase is observed. They play a vital role in regulating ecosystems. The bryophytes, they play a vital role in regulating ecosystem because they provide an important buffer system for other plants, and economically important too.